The house on Kerrigan Street was cheap because no one could keep it. The realtor said it like a joke, not a warning. I took it anyway because I had just lost my job. The severance would stretch further if I stopped bleeding rent. The place was old, with a long hallway that funneled the wind, and a wall-length mirror that stared directly at the bed. I told myself I would flip the mirror later. I never did. The first night, the hallway breathed. Doors sucked inward with the inhale and rattled on the exhale. At 3:12 a.m., footsteps clicked one by one. They stopped right outside my bedroom door. The mirror fogged in the corners for no reason. By the third night, I woke to wait on the bed. Someone had sat down at my knees, but when I reached out, the mattress was empty. In the mirror, the bed still sagged as if someone remained there. The next morning, 3 fresh scratches burned down my neck. I bled enough to stain my collar. That night, the lamp flickered once and dimmed. The covers peeled back an inch at a time. A cold hand brushed my leg. A whisper slid into my ear. Closer. I shoved the dresser against the mirror. But at 2:51 a.m., the chair under the door handle scraped across the floor. The handle clicked 3 times like a laugh. In my dreams, people stood behind me in the mirror. Their mouths too wide. Their teeth too many. Their nails scratching across my back until I woke bleeding. The recruiter on my video call frowned. "Are you okay? Your neck." On camera, my reflection blinked too late. In the files I sent, a dozen gray figures stood behind me. Hands on my shoulders, hands on my face. I deleted the folder. The figures stayed. The blanket over the mirror began to breathe. One night it slipped off by itself. The glass was black, empty, like a door to a dark room. Shapes gathered on the other side. Pale people in office clothes and pajamas. Ordinary people with long fingernails and hungry faces. They pressed their hands to the glass. I lifted mine without wanting to. Their touch burned. One scratched tally marks into his wrist. He pointed at the bed and began counting down. The lamp sputtered. The bed sagged. The covers pulled away on their own. The shape in the bed shifted and curled into my place. It breathed softly. It smiled thinly. It was me. I pounded on the glass until my fists split. The pale people only watched. The house inhaled again, and the mirror swallowed me whole. Now I wake in a room that looks like mine if it had never known dust. The lamp burns brighter here. The hallway is silent, but in the mirror I see the other side, the empty bed, the blanket crumpled, the thing that looks like me rolling toward the empty half. It breathes, it sleeps, and every night at 3:12 the house makes the same offer again. The house did not let me go. It only moved me into a deeper room. The walls here are pale and smooth. The ceiling leaks shadows instead of water. Every sound echoes twice like someone repeating me from behind. At first, I thought it was another dream, but my skin still burned where the scratches lived, and every breath I took, the mirror across the room exhaled back at me. Inside that glass, I saw my old life playing without me, the version of me that stayed in the bed. He smiled too often. He answered calls I never heard. He lived while I watched. At night, the pale people gathered closer. They circled my bed in silence. Their mouths opened wider than any scream, yet no sound came out. They raised their hands as one and dragged nails down their faces. Bloodless scratches appeared on my own skin as if they had carved me from across the glass. On the third night, something changed. The mirror no longer showed my room. It showed my sister walking up the steps of the house. She had come just like I feared she would. She knocked on the locked door. She called my name again and again. I screamed back, but she couldn't hear me. The pale people smiled. One by one, they pointed to her in the mirror. Then they pointed to me. The door behind me opened without a sound. I had never seen a door there before. The air that poured out was colder than ice and smelled like rot. A figure crawled out, too tall to stand, too thin to belong in the world. Its hands brushed the ceiling. Its face was covered by a white mask that dripped tears of tar. It stood behind me and whispered into my ear, "Trade." I fought the pull, but the mirror brightened. My sister on the other side pressed her palm to the glass. She looked into my eyes, though she could not see me. I pressed my palm back against hers. The pale people parted. The tall masked figure laughed like a broken violin, and the mirror split down the middle. The other me reached through first. His smile had rotted into a grin full of black teeth. He pulled my sister's arm into the glass. She gasped and froze as if the air itself chained her. I slammed my fists against the surface until they bled, but the pale people held me back. Their nails pierced my shoulders and dragged me down. The last thing I saw before the glass sealed was my sister's face fading into darkness. The fake me walked her deeper into the house. She didn't even know she had been taken. Now I am not alone here. I hear her voice crying my name from the next room. But the tall figure stands in the doorway, mask dripping, hands spread wide. It whispers again, "Trade." And I know the house is not done. It wants families. It wants bloodlines. Every night at 3:12 it breathes me closer to the mirror. And every night I wonder how many trades it has already made. How many people live with strangers that wear their faces. The house never sleeps. Neither do I anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I see my sister deeper in the halls. She wanders with the others, pale and slow, her fingernails already growing too long. If I don't act soon, she will forget who she was, and she will become one of them. I started marking the walls with my blood, each tally a reminder of how many nights I've survived. The pale people hate the marks. They hiss and recoil from them. So I covered the room in jagged lines. My skin burns raw, but the walls glow faint red like living scars. The tall masked figure visits me anyway. It glides across the floor without steps. Its mask drips black tar that sizzles when it touches the ground. It leans so close I feel its cold breath seep into my chest. It whispers one word again and again. Trade, trade, trade. Every night its voice grows hungrier. Tonight the mirror changed again. It no longer shows the other side of the house. It shows my sister sleeping in her bed from years ago before all this. She looks young, peaceful, untouched. I know it is bait, but I also know the mirror only shows what it can take. Which means somewhere a door is opening. I push my hand into the glass. This time it lets me through. The world on the other side feels thick, like walking through water. The pale people follow me with silent grins. The tall masked figure glides behind, claws dragging along the walls. I hear my sister crying just ahead. I run down endless corridors that bend like ribs. Doors slam open and shut by themselves. Whispers crawl up my spine, calling my name, promising freedom if I give in. I find her in a room with no ceiling. She is chained to the floor, her eyes hollow, her body trembling. When she sees me, she whispers, "You're late." I break the chains with my bleeding hands. The pale people crowd the walls, their mouths open wider, wider. The tall masked figure stretches its arms until they blot out the ceiling. It hisses, "Trade, or she stays." I scream and throw myself between it and my sister. The mask leans down, tar dripping onto my face. Its voice cracks into 1,000 tones at once. Choose. And then I understand. The house doesn't just want one of us. It wants both. It feeds on bloodlines, on families, on love turned into bait. There is no trade. There is only hunger. I grab my sister's hand and run. We dive through the nearest door, but the floor collapses beneath us. We fall into darkness that smells like smoke and iron. The mirror slams shut above us with a deafening crack. When I open my eyes, I am back in my bedroom. The lamp glows weakly. The covers are tucked neatly over my chest. My sister lies asleep beside me, breathing evenly. For one moment, I think I won. Then I see the scratches on her arms. long, parallel scars, fresh and red. Her lips move, though she is still asleep, and in a whisper that does not belong to her, she says, "Closer." The hallway exhales. The mirror fogs, and I realize the house never let us escape. It only gave us another night to suffer, and when 312 comes again, it will take both of us.